Hi, welcome to ShowMeTheCurry.com. I'm Anuja.
And I'm Hital. Today we're making veg rolls or vegetarian Frankies. I know this is a great street item, street food, chatish item that's available, and it's so delicious. And when you make it at home, it's even better because you can make it fresh ingredients.
And I love the fact that it's a great snack item and it's great for lunches for kids or adults.
Absolutely.
So let's get started.
Well, this recipe was given to us, so shared with us by Deepika Agarwal. So thank you so much for sending in that recipe. And here we have 1 cup of maida or all-purpose flour. To this we're adding half a teaspoon of salt and mix. We also have 1 tablespoon of oil, and we're going to mix this well so that all the oil gets incorporated into the flour. And this is an important step. You really want that oil to be completely in there. Finally, we have 1 small potato. We've boiled it and peeled it and then shredded it using just a shredder, big shreds, and this way it'll help get mixed into the flour really easily. We're going to add that in.
And this is a red potato that we have used.
So what I'm doing here is basically crumbling the potato into the flour, just similar to the oil. We want to make sure that potato gets well incorporated and there's not lumps of potato in there. And now we're going to form this into a dough. You may or may not need additional water, because if you do this, see, it comes together. It's actually coming together. So you may or may not, again, it depends on the size of your potato. Your small potato could be a little bigger than ours. But if you need to, you can add maybe a tablespoon or 2 of warm water. But be very careful, add just a little at a time, because this dough tends to get really, really soft over time. I think we're going to need about 1 tablespoon. And it's still not coming together all the way like we want, so we're going to add 1 more tablespoon of water.
Aha!
Magic.
But you know, every time we've made this dough, it's needed a little different amount of water. Again, like Hital mentioned, it could be the potato, it could be the amount of, the accuracy of the maida that you put in. So also how much you boil the potato, sometimes that makes a big difference. Sometimes they absorb a lot of water and sometimes none at all. Look at it.
It's coming together, and it's really stiff right now, and that's okay, because like we said, as it sits and we have to let it rest for a little while, it does become softer. So if it's stiff right now, that's exactly how you want it. So I'll knead it for just about a minute or 2.
And like we do to every other dough, we're going to put a little bit of oil on top just to make sure there's no crust.
Slightly coat it. Cover and let it rest for about 15 minutes.
Now that's going to rest while we do the rest of the process. So now we're going to work on the filling, and for the filling it's a combination of potatoes and paneer, and we've used about a quarter of a block of paneer. So this is the other quarter, so just to give you an approximate idea. And again, we've just crumbled it with our hands, approximately 100 grams of paneer. And to this we're going to add boiled, peeled and grated potatoes, 2 small potatoes. Now, anytime that you grate it, it kind of helps because it ensures there's no lumps, so it's easier to mix in. And we're going to use our hands because these potatoes tend to be a little sticky, and it's just easier to work with. Of course, if you've just had a manicure, you can always use your fork or a spoon. And I'm just going to mix this. Just kind of open up the potatoes so they don't, there's not a lump of potatoes with no paneer in it, and the paneer is evenly distributed. And now to this we'll add some spices. Now a lot of these spices are to taste, but what we've given you is an approximate, and it works out really good for this amount. Half a teaspoon of salt, half a tablespoon of dhania powder or coriander powder, half a teaspoon of garam masala, half a teaspoon of amchur or dry mango powder, half a teaspoon of red chili powder or to taste, and mix. Now the spices tend to clump up again because anytime they see something sticky, so just mix it well.
So our paneer and potato mixture is nice and masala-fied. We have a little pan here with 1 tablespoon of oil heating up, and it's actually already hot.
Yes. Now use a pan that's got enough ample room to mix around, because you want everything to mix in well.
And I think a non-stick also works well for this application. So we have some finely chopped green chilies.
To taste.
Or optional.
Yes.
And we're going to add in our mixture.
and mix. Now this is a real quick saute because the spices are already mixed in. You just want it to heat all the way through and the spices to release all their flavors.
You can also try it at this point and make sure that salt and any of the other spices are okay for you. It's perfect time to add them in.
Okay, just a minute needed, and we're going to turn off the stove. And now this is a very soft mixture, so just to give it a wonderful crunch, we've very, very thinly sliced some onions, and we're just going to add it in. Now the stove has been turned off, so this is just to give it a crunch. You don't want them to become very limp. So you can just add in as little or as much as you like. So add in some cilantro also at this point, then mix. So those two things provide color and crunch and the freshness.
And here's one more freshness addition.
Yes.
We have some lime. We're just going to squeeze it on.
And mix. Now since this is done, we're going to transfer it into a bowl just so that it cools down, because we do have to form the rolls. So it's been 15 minutes. Our dough has been resting. We have also put a tawa on the fire, and it's nice and hot. Actually, it'll be perfectly hot by the time we get the rotis rolling.
And we're going to give our dough, oh, see, it's already soft. Another knead before we start.
So I think 15 minutes is perfect. Don't let it sit around or rest for anything longer than that, because I think it'll tend to get hard to work with.
Exactly. And we'll divide this dough. This is going to make approximately 6 veggie rolls. And they're about a little bit bigger than a golf ball size. Yeah, 6. Nice. Okay, so we take our dough ball and make it into a nice smooth round ball. Flatten it out. And we also have some extra all-purpose flour here that we're going to use to dip this in so that it doesn't stick to our rolling surface. Dip that in. And roll it out. Now this is all-purpose flour, so it is a little bit harder to roll out than your normal chapati flour. But if you work at it, it does eventually get there.
Yeah, and even after you roll out, it tends to shrink a little bit, and that's okay. Otherwise, you can go at it all day.
So roll it a little bit thinner than normal because it does shrink. Okay, this is perfect. I'm going to dust off the excess flour.
And put it on the hot tawa.
And while that's cooking, I'm going to continue on with the next one.
So as soon as you put it on the tawa, just move it around a little bit, and we'll allow the color to change and just get a few bubbles. Same rules apply as for chapati or paratha or any of the others breads. And I see bubbles, so I'm going to flip it and allow it to cook on the other side just a little bit. Alright, at this point I'm going to increase the heat to the highest. Take it off the tawa and put it on the flame directly. And allow it to blow up.
Not blow up.
And it's done. And take it off. And we'll just put it in an insulated container till we're ready to make the rolls.
So our rotis are made and they're still nice and hot inside this insulated container.
And here we have the mixture that we had made, and it's cooled down, so it's okay to touch. And we just go ahead and divide it into 6 equal parts, because that's the amount of rotis that we have made, so that everybody gets the same amount, nobody's fighting.
The last person cheated out.
Right, so we'll just do that. 6 almost equal parts. Do you want me to wait? And we're going to use our hands, and we'll just kind of roll it, one portion of it. So I'm going to make the roll just like a sausage kind of roll.
And the other ingredient we need for our Frankies is we have some coriander chutney. You can use any kind of mixture, coriander mint, but practically basically a green chutney. So we're going to take one of our rotis, nice and hot still. So we'll take our chutney and spread it here. And spread it on about half of it.
And we're going to place the roll on one side.
And roll it. That way this part remains a little clean when you're picking.
And doesn't get soggy also.
Absolutely. Look at this. So delicious. Roll it, and then we have cute little toothpick. Look at that. So these rotis are fantastic. Even after a while, they'll still remain soft, even if you take it for lunch.
Yes.
But if you do so, then the only thing different you'd have to do is leave the chutney out, and you can roll it and take a chutney in a separate container and then add it on later. But it stays really soft and really yummy even for an extended period of time.
Thank you again, Deepika, for this great recipe, and join us again in another episode of ShowMeTheCurry.com.
Adding a pinch of spice to your life.